Hello, everybody, and you're extremely welcome to the UCD Loughlin Quinn School of Business in Dublin virtually today. Wherever you've joined us from right around the world, we're thrilled that you're taking the time to come and talk with us a little bit today about the UCD Quinn experience, studying business in Ireland, in Dublin, and the questions that you might have. We have a fantastic agenda today. We're going to meet a number of our colleagues and students, and we're going to tell you a little bit about the suite of 5 main business programs at the Quinn School. My name is Maeve Houlihan. I'm director of the school, and I'm really proud to welcome you today. And I'm really glad now to also introduce you or to let you know about some of the speakers that will be joining us shortly on our conversation together. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about the Quinn experience here at Quinn, and then we're going to have an opportunity to dive a little deeper with one of our programs focusing on the BSc business. It really is a chance to look across a sample of the Quinn experience. You're going to hear from our School Offices Director, Aoife Doherty, on the careers and wraparound experience that we sometimes call Quinsights, or that really reflects the journey that many students go in their co-curricular experience at Quinn. And then I'm really delighted that you'll be meeting several of our students from across our programs. We'll have Erin from Economics and Finance, Ealing from Economics and Finance, Palak from the BCom, and Kristen from BSc Business. And each is at different stages, bringing slightly different perspectives. And there'll be an opportunity to ask them your questions and certainly to hear the inside track on what life is like here at Quinn. So that's our plan. But I know many of you will be making a big decision in the near future about where you'd like to study and why. And very often, a very first question people will ask at this point is, well, what will I study? You might be choosing between many different options, in fact. And, we think our position on this is we want you to have as much information as you need to help you make the decisions that are right for you. We want to have students here in the school who really understand the possibilities and opportunities and want to lean into that. We think studying business is a great idea if you're interested in making a difference, adding value, helping get things done, and helping do things well. And we see businesses operating right across the sectors, whether that's creating financial value, whether that's running hospitals or art centres, even government's public sector, whether it's starting up, building a new idea and making it work, or whether it's doing something like we are all here involved in today, running an educational institution. All of those ways, the skills of business really help inform all of those activities. So whatever your ambition, we're confident that this is a place where you can get help. The second question after why should I or what should I study and should I study business is very much where should I study business? And we think that this is a pretty good place to do that. We don't do a hard sell on it because we like to let the experiences and our students and their outcomes speak for themselves. But just to mention some of the things that are true of this space and worth being aware of. We're part of a network of the most globally recognized and accredited universities. That includes AACSB, the US-focused global accreditation, EQUIS, the European-focused global accreditation, and on the graduate side, AMBA, which are all signals of qualifiers, or of quality. They depend on an extraordinarily active research faculty, on students and their graduate outcomes and the extraordinary places that students from here go. They depend on the diversity of students here in this institution and the type of learning experiences that we build. And so, you know, we say all those things with pride, but with humility as well, because it's achieved together as a community. Here we have more than 2,000 students and lots of visiting students every term, and lots of our students traveling out into the world as well. And so we'll say more about each of these things, but we want really just to give you confidence that this is an institution and a school that is really worth reckoning with. And I will not boast any further about that, but I invite you to listen to my colleagues and our students and make that decision for ourselves. So, as we move on then from studying business at Quinn, one of the things about the space here at Quinn, and we use the word space very thoughtfully, we've tried to create an environment where students can thrive and also where they're experiencing something very close to the business world, whether that's in our Bloomberg lab, as you see on the bottom right here, which is part of our collaboration with KPMG around driving skills in the school and supporting meaningful ways that students can really help increase and expand their skills while they're studying. The Bloomberg Lab is a place where students can learn to use real live markets data, where they can certify and do some training in Bloomberg market concepts. It's where they can every student in Quinn has this opportunity, and some students go really deeper into it, choosing modules where they really will study markets and finance in a deeper way. Um, Also on the images, you see some of our student gatherings, which you'll hear more about, but you know, very frequently we would have events like that, whether it's with mentors in the school or internship open evenings, or whether it's a social gathering for a program. And on the bottom left, you will also see one of our many studios, which are bookable by our students, and very important part of the culture of, you know, meetings and teamwork and really learning by doing. So in all of those ways, you get a feeling for why we talk about this as a spaces place. It's not just about it, you know, just classrooms, just a place you come to do your classes, but we hope it's a place that you stay to meet and connect and collaborate, where you get ideas in your lectures and classes. And sometimes those will be in big theatres like you see on the left there. And other times they'll be in smaller, intimate gatherings and tutorials, workshops, and many times classes that are structured around debates and in-room teamwork, case studies, and so on. The community here is full of breakout spaces for people to formally and informally work together. And what we know about that is it's a real chemistry and opportunity for unexpected and creative things to happen, whether that's a new student society, an idea for a fundraiser or a social event, whatever that might be. So we hope, you know, you will sometime get the chance to visit Quinn and experience that for yourself. We warmly invite you to, if you're visiting Ireland, please be sure to come and talk with us about it. But it's all intentional and created with the deliberate goal of supporting independent thinking, active engagement, critical thinking, and a journey through your college years where you have the opportunity to lean into different skills that you want to build. So, one of the pieces that is really important as part of that is the idea that this is a global business school based in Dublin. Dublin is an amazing centre for business, and there's an extraordinary community of global businesses on our doorstep right around the city and country. But a big part of that embracing the world that we do and trying to open up the world for our students is the idea of traveling abroad. And many of our students will choose to do this with different possibilities in different programs. But for example, just right now, a large number of our students are out around the world in 70 different universities doing their second term in the case of, for example, a BCom or economics and finance student who has applied to and achieved a place, doing what we call an Erasmus or international program. And in some cases, I'm particularly thinking of BCom International, some of those students are actually abroad for this whole year. And as part of their program, they're studying in their language or at least in the culture that they're focused on. And that is an extraordinary thing. And equally, alongside that experience, you sit in Quinn alongside students from right around the world. That's why we're so excited that you're on this call today. And we're imagining you some point in a room here in Quinn sharing your global experience with the people alongside you in your class. So that is the story in relation to outward bound experience. I mentioned at the top that we're going to take a deeper dive into some of our programs, but just to remind you, if you haven't come across it before, that the suite of programs here at Quinn is really 5 main business programs. These are commerce, BSc business, very closely related. And a key difference between the two, in different shades, is simply that the BSc business is globally focused and intercultural in focus. All of our programs, that is true, but we put an extra emphasis on this in the BSc business. Both commerce and BSc business can be taken as 3-year programs, or indeed they can be taken as 4 with the addition of an internship year. And that is an amazing opportunity. Our third program is a BCom International. That is by design a 4-year program, the 3rd year of which is studying internationally in the language or culture of choice, is really focused on building those intercultural skills together with language and deeper cultural knowledge. A very different program, but part of the suite of Quinn programs is the Economics and Finance program. It's for specialist expertise in maths, stats, economics, and finance. It can be taken as a 3-year or a 4-year program, and you'll hear from 2 of our Econ Phi students today sharing their experience. And finally, business and law is a collaboration with our literal neighbour, the wonderful Sutherland School of Law, which is a matter of about 30 steps away from the beautiful school here at Quinn, and itself also a beautiful space. It's a joint degree in business and law. You study both equally, and it has lots of the features of the Quinn School with the addition of a real deep understanding of advocacy, of legislation, and all of the key subjects in law. We think of it as a double major. So that's our suite. If you are keen to look in depth at a particular program, please do have a look at our prospectus. You'll see a link for it later, and you'll see much more detailed information and be able to look at further videos. But now we have the opportunity to meet with one of our thought leaders here in Quinn and the director of the BSc Business, Dr. Virginia Stewart, to take you through in closer detail the BSc Business. Thank you very much, Virginia. You're very welcome to join us here.
Thank you, Maeve, for the wonderful overview and introduction. As Maeve explained, the BSc Business is one of multiple programs that we offer at Quinn. I describe it as a sister program to the Bachelor's of Commerce, but it's designed specifically for our global students. I'm going to explain a little bit more about the specific modules. Valerie? So BCom and BSc Business, in fact, most of our programs, you're all required to do basic business skills, accounting, marketing, economics, finance, all of that, your first 2 years. They're actually quite similar. Students take these modules together. What's specifically different about the BSc Business is your options that you can take and the timing of the program. So let me give you some examples here. all of our business students will take management, business and society, business law, foundations and management. But our BSc business students have a very specific course, usually in their first semester with their colleagues, and this is in exploring the Irish economy, the Irish host country. Your second year here, you also have an intercultural competencies class and also one on business in the EU. So this is laying the foundations for a really global mindset and in terms of the careers that you might be choosing. What's interesting about studying at UCD in general, not just for the BSc business, is that you come in right away studying business. Unlike in other universities, potentially, where you apply to a business school and maybe you do other electives before going into business, at UCD and at Quinn and in the BSc business, you are doing these classes from the get-go. The little gray boxes there are your elective classes. So they're very limited in year 1 and year 2 because you are really acquiring the basics of a foundation. The classes meet for 2 hours once a week. So you'll be spending 12 to 15 hours in class. It is a full-time job to be a student, though, because you should be preparing 1 to 3 hours for each class. And so now we're, getting up into 20, 30, 40 hours a week. As Maeve mentioned, our classes are very require a lot from our students. We do a lot of work in teams. There are small classes, large classes, simulations, and it's a very much an engaged learning environment. So, our students are not just sitting there absorbing information, they are creating information. Stage 3 and final stage can be a little bit confusing. They were to me when I joined UCD 10 years ago, but I think I've got it now. It is designed in theory to be a 3-year program. So your final stage would be your 3rd year. And this is when you have, the world is your oyster. You can take many different business options, electives, which could be outside the business school, and really design your degree to meet your interests academically and professionally. So there is a lot of flexibility in the final stage. And at that point, you probably have a better idea of what type of business and what type of job you're looking to get into. The business option modules that you can choose from, there are dozens and dozens and dozens. They are always evolving as well. So, 2 or 3 years from now, we might have new offerings. For example, I teach negotiations. I have for a long time. But this year, I've introduced AI in negotiations training. So my students are practicing against bots. So, business education is adapting and changing. And so the options are also changing as well. I should also mention the faculty at Quinn are shared across the undergraduate program and also the graduate business school. So many of your faculty are, also very international, but have deep expertise and are teaching at multiple levels, the undergrad, university level, but also the master's and PhD level as well. Learning environment, Maeve covered that, but I just want to emphasize how special the spaces are as well. The business school has been updated, redesigned, extended, and expanded because the future of learning really is much more collaborative. We have the lecture halls, they're needed. A lot of classes, there is a large lecture, but now we have these learning spaces that are very adaptable to entrepreneurship, to negotiations, working in teams, learning to develop podcasts and things like that. So a very special thing about Quinn, I would say, is the way in which we use our space. There's a lot of different types of assessment. I'll just give you an example from my own class. My students get to choose 3 applied projects. One is preparing for salary negotiations and reaching out to recruiters and alumni. Another option is to do a series of 5 trades. So they're given a pencil or a paper clip and they need to negotiate up 5 times and see, how well their skills are applied. And then the third one is giving back, helping, coaching, supporting, and being an ally to someone that is trying to either resolve a conflict or learn to negotiate themselves. So lots of different innovative assessment practices at UCD. I will defer to my colleagues on the specifics of the overall internship and exchange opportunities, but my BSc business students are choosing to study abroad. A handful have tried this, and it's interesting because they are in some ways already abroad, but you can go your second year, second semester. So after you've spent about 18 months at UCD, if you're interested, apply to study abroad at another language, English language speaking institution. So this trimester, I have students in Belgium, Australia, and Hong Kong. The BSc Business really is designed as a 3-year program, but it's flexible. You don't have to decide now, but if you do come to UCD and decide an internship would be an important part of your education, you can do a 1-year internship. This is sandwiched between your second and final years, and it would be a paid internship. Classroom, career, classroom. Yeah. So, sometimes we forget the point of an education is, at least in my opinion, to expand the mind, but also to get a job. So we do try to bring in a lot of applied skills to go with the, theoretical, the textbook type of knowledge. But there's just a really fabulous integration of professional societies and student events and opportunities within the Quinn environment to think about your career and be also strategic in your educational choices.
Okay, many thanks, Virginia. I'm going to take it from here and talk a little bit more about careers and the opportunities that unfold as you progress through your degree pathway in UCD. As Maeve mentioned at the beginning, my name is Aoife Doherty and I am the director of the Quinn School offices. So I look after the administrative side of the house in the Quinn School. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about the employment environment in Dublin, in Ireland, what you can expect as a UCD Quinn student, the opportunities, as I mentioned, that will be for you in the programme, and also the career supports throughout UCD and in the school. So Ireland, as the slide has helpfully pointed out, is a small island on the northernmost tip of Europe. We are an open economy. We're part of Europe. We're part of the Eurozone. We are English speaking. We have a solid legal and regulatory system, which makes Ireland a very attractive environment for international companies to position themselves. And as we've mapped out in the slides here, there are lots of international companies based in Dublin, particularly around technology, fintech, aviation leasing. Dublin is one of the global hubs for aviation finance and leasing, and lots more besides. Pharma, medtech, lots of companies are hubbed in Ireland. And what that means for our students, and as Maeve and Virginia have mentioned before, we have a lot of connection in the school to industry through guest speakers at early stages, through alumni, through mentoring, and through internship opportunities. So the slide here, as I mentioned, has just a quick overview of the environment. And here's a map of Dublin, just pinpointing some of the firms that are within 5 kilometres of our campus. If we look at Huawei there to the top left, the campus is actually just 4 or 5 kilometres to the left of that. We've mentioned some of the companies here, but there's lots more besides. I mean, we've got PayPal, we've got Stripe, we've got Forest, we've got lots within the fintech area, which is a really robust and growing area of opportunity. And our programs lead towards careers in this. So if we go on to the next slide, we'll talk a little bit about the kind of supports that you can expect in the UCD's Quinn School. And as Virginia said, you're deciding on your program, you're going to invest in time and money in your education, you're potentially going to come to a new country, and you want that to be meaningful, and you want to make sure that you've plenty of opportunities when you complete your degree. So along the way in the Quinn School, we start whatever program you decide to go for. In first year, we introduce students to their career planning. and opportunities with a Quinsights activity. So Quinsights means an insight into different companies, into different industries, into different opportunities. It is the first introductory piece for students along their career pathway. So students will have the opportunity to come and visit companies to get a hands-on experience of what it's like to be or see what it feels like to work in a professional services firm or a tech industry. And that's all led by our colleague who looks after the Insights program and also our mentoring program. Our mentoring program involves our robust alumni community. We have over 100,000 business alumni in UCD, and we invite those alumni to come back and work with students in the second year of their degree program to, again, give them an insight into their career, into their pathway, to give them advice and support. We have between 120, I think, this year, but up to 200 students who participate in that annually. And it's a really good sounding board for students if they want to learn a little bit more about different industries. In second year, the next opportunity that's available to students is our paid internship program. Now, this, as Virginia was explaining, is that sandwich year between second year and final year on our Bachelor of Commerce program, our BSc Business program, and our Economics and Finance program. The Bachelor of Business and Law and the Commerce International program can't avail of the 1 year, but they can avail of shorter summer internships for credits. So focusing on the 1 year internship, the team in Quinn prepares students through mock interviews. We organize an internship fair every year where we bring employers to the school. Students get to meet the employers and talk about different opportunities. That is organized and managed by our internship manager here in the school. Students then apply. They can apply up to a certain amount of places. They're interviewed and hopefully they will be successful and get a full year placement for the subsequent academic year. That 1 year placement is a paid opportunity and salaries range between 22,000, 24,000 up to sometimes much, much higher than that. It really depends on the company and the industry that students are interested in. It is a real life opportunity. So, students have to interview, you have to be fully prepared, you have to be attuned to the employers, the industry. Sometimes not everybody gets an opportunity, but we do work consistently with students through round 1, round 2, round 3 to ensure that whoever wants to can get placed. So this year, they're the figures. We have 272 participants with a very high success rate of those going through the process across a broad range of employers. These are predominantly based in Dublin. We have others around Ireland and a small number overseas. So we have some students in Dubai this year, we have some in New York, and a small number through Europe. So we provide the opportunities, but we also allow students the flexibility themselves. If they have found a particular opportunity that they wish to avail of, we work with them to make sure that that can happen through an approvals process. Students will then take the internship opportunity and progress to year 3. Alongside their 1 year study, they will be doing 60 credits, which is just a reflective module throughout the year to keep working on those skills that we've mentioned before, which are very important to employers. So some of the top internship employers there are some of the professional services firms, financial services firms. We might particularly mention KPMG, who have been with us since we started this internship program in 2010. So it is a very important part of the learning journey for students who put their skills in action during that internship year. So that is in second year of the program. But other opportunities that we might mention as well, back to second year, is our career network, which is available to students throughout the duration of their time with us in UCD. The career network is the central university hub. It provides lots of guidance and support along with a bespoke or a detailed business career guidance counselor. There's plenty of AI tools to support students as well, from Interview 360 and CV 360, where you can work with AI tools to improve your CV, to get feedback on your interview technique. There's also plenty of shorter term employment opportunities advertised through the career network. So we make sure that students are well aware of that. And what I might actually do is pop in a link to the chat where you can actually go and take a look at the career perspectives provided by our colleagues in the UCD Career Network. Students in second year also have access to a finance trip to London. And the intention of that is at the early start of stage 2 to bring students, to give them a sense of international finance, how that operates in London. It's a particular interest to students in the economics and finance program, but it is open to all students. And it is a 1-week trip, which is very helpful for students as they start their career planning journey. I've mentioned the Business Alumni Network, which is quite robust, over 100,000 alumni based globally, also a source of guest lectures, contacts, guidance and support through the mentoring program. And then the last thing I might mention is the Careers Fair and Employers Talks. So we have lots of employer engagement throughout the year in the Quinn School. We organise our internship fair, and then there's also the University Career Fair, which sees almost 100 employers come each year to meet and speak with students. So the one thing that we'd like to flag here is the excellent graduate outcomes. 95% of our students within 1 year of graduation are in further study or employment. The employment market in Dublin is quite robust at this moment in time. We have a very young population. We are known for like a strong talent pool. So there's plenty of opportunities for students post-graduation. And as international students, you are entitled to a 1-year stay-back visa, which means that you can stay and work for a year. And then there's the potential for sponsorship through your employer. So here's just a quick look at some of the many employers that work with us throughout your time in Quinn, and opportunities that might be available on graduation. And I think that's it for me. I think we're going to hand it over to Emily, who's going to introduce our student panel and give you the opportunity to ask them questions. I might mention that you can pop any questions you have in the questions and answer field down below, and we will get through some of those questions. Thanks so much, Emily.
Thank you, Aoife. So I'm Emily Cassidy, the International Student Coordinator here at the Quinn School. So I support all of our wonderful full degree international students from the time that they apply and accept their offer to study with us throughout their entire degree program. So today I'm very delighted to introduce our 4 fantastic student panelists. So if you could all turn on your cameras. So Aaron is a stage 1 economics and finance student. He's originally from the United States, and he is involved in several societies on campus, including the Economics Society and the International Student Society. Palak is a stage 2 commerce student originally from India, and she grew up in various countries, though, throughout the Middle East. She's also involved in quite a few different extracurriculars, including the Peer Mentor Program, the Badminton Club, Indian Society, and the International Student Society. And Palak will be commencing an internship this next academic year. So I'm excited to hear more about that in a minute. And Yiling is a stage 3 economics and finance student, originally from China, and she's currently working as a business and marketing analytics intern at Transitions Optical in Dublin. So we'll find out what her internship placement is like in a second. And finally, our 4th panelist is Kristen. So Kristen is from the United States as well. She is a stage 1 BSc business student, originally so she's involved in a number of student societies on campus too, and she will serve as a peer mentor this next academic year. So our 4 students are really excited to share their experiences with you all today regarding living in Dublin and studying in the Quinn School of Business. So Aaron, I might just start with you. So you're from California. That's quite a long distance from Ireland. So would you mind telling us why you chose to study here in Dublin and in UCD, and what some of your first impressions were of Ireland?
Yeah, thank you very much for the introduction, first of all. And I think there were kind of 2 really main reasons that I chose to come to UCD in particular. The first one is I didn't really know anyone coming to UCD originally, and I kind of saw it as something to expand my horizons and meet new people across in a different country. and kind of just being able to learn in a different country was something that always kind of excited me. So when I had that opportunity in my senior year of high school, I really took that opportunity and I haven't looked back so far. And then I think the other thing is that UCD just fit very well with what I wanted to do. The economics and finance degree, which I'm currently in stage one, as you mentioned, Emily, is truly something that I think was the best option that I had when I was applying to colleges. When I was applying to the different colleges I applied to, I noticed that some of the degrees didn't really line up what I kind of wanted to do, and I felt the economics and finance degree really lined up and put me in a good spot to get a job coming out of university. So those were the two really main reasons that I decided to come over here.
Okay, great. So along those same lines, so I know Virginia mentioned a few minutes ago about the time that students normally spend in class versus study time and extracurriculars, but you're studying economics and finance. What would you say your typical school week might look like?
Yeah, I would say that I spend probably around 30 to 40 hours a week. Kind of depends on some weeks and what kind of projects and assignments I have. I would say I have on average around 20 to 22 hours of lectures. And then on top of that, each class demands maybe 2 to 3 hours, depending on what kind of is coming up that week. But I feel it's completely manageable and I still have time to spend time with friends or go visit family that I have and definitely do the things I want to do around Dublin.
Wonderful, wonderful. Is there one class in particular that you've really enjoyed? And could you tell us maybe how you were assessed?
Yeah, so one class that I think I've thoroughly enjoyed so far is my advanced calculus class, which I'm currently taking this semester. I really like the professor, first of all. I think he's really great the way he teaches and he gives plenty of examples and explains all the examples and really breaks it down so you can kind of understand. And I think that's part of the main reason that I really enjoy the course. And as far as assessment goes for that class, we had a midterm, which was worth 35% of our grade. We have a continuous assessment, which is kind of an online math homework solution where you do the problems on your own, you submit the answers to the solution, and they'll give you instant feedback on whether it's right or wrong. And that's worth 10% of our grade. And then we have a final, which is worth the remaining 55% of our grade there.
Wonderful. All right. Well, I know exams are coming up in a few weeks, so good luck with those. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Eileen, I'll move to you now. So could you tell us why you chose to study in UCD, first of all?
Hi, hello. Hi, everyone. My name is Xiling, and I am a third-year economics and finance student at Queen's School of Business. Happy to share my thoughts with you all. So the reason I came here was quite complicated. I was first considering to attend college in the UK, but then I changed my mind because Dublin is a lovely city and the general tuition fee is more acceptable than the UK. And finally, I think economics and finance, this course is really good for students like me and equip me with many valuable skills.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Eileen. That's great that you mentioned you found Dublin to be a very nice and welcoming city. So I was an international student here many years ago, and I really experienced the same thing coming in. I found the people to be just very friendly and welcoming, and especially when I came to UCD's campus, I noticed that the environment here is it's really inclusive. Did you find that as well?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, great. Okay. So can you tell us about your current internship placement working with Transitions Optical?
Yes, of course. So I am currently working full-time with Transitions Optical as a business analyst intern. This internship program spans a duration of 12 months, during which I am fully immersed in practical learning experiences. Really appreciate UCD and Queen's School of Business for providing this opportunity because it allowed me to meet professionals and really integrate with the local business community. Personally, one of the most exciting aspects of this internship has been discovering my passion for data visualization. As a data analyst, I deal with big data and statistical tools day to day. It is with this first-hand working experience that I discovered my enjoyment for storytelling. Specifically, I love creating dynamic and engaging charts and dashboards for people to gain insights into complex data sets. So once I return to college in September, I will surely choose the math and statistics path to my course and delve deeper into data science. This academic internship really marks a significant step towards my career, and I strongly advise all students in my course to embrace this opportunity.
Well, thanks very much, Yiling. I'm delighted to hear that it's all going very well, and you have just a few more months left in your placement, right?
Yeah, my current contract ends in July.
Okay. So you'll have a bit of time to return home before you come back to campus. Great.
Exactly.
Okay. Thanks so much, Yiling. Okay, Palak, I know you recently completed the internship application and selection process. So could you tell us what you think you might be doing in the fall?
Yeah, so I'm going to be joining Microsoft as a financial analysis intern in September. And so like I found the whole internship process to be so like helpful, and I think Quinn really does prepare you for like everything you go through. Like it was mentioned before, there was like the internship fairs, there's the CV checking from Careers Network, and then there's also like the mock interviews, and I took part in all of that. So I was able to like meet with various different employers at the internship fair and kind of talk to like people who are working there currently and get their advice, or like get to know more of the company before you like consider applying there. And I got my I got my CV and my cover letter checked from the Careers Network, which I think it really helped me to like understand from like a person from who has greater experience than me in like kind of this field, and like what to include, what not to include, and how to like tailor your CV or resume and like cover letter to each company you're applying to kind of stand out for the employers. And I also was taking a part in the mock interview, which kind of connects students to like industrial professionals. So my mock interviewer was I think a project manager from EY. So I think like that really helped me to kind of prepare how to answer questions in an interview style, and what kind of like to look out for and what to highlight, what to not highlight. And then I think the fact that he was from EY, I think that was incredibly helpful because EY was a company I was considering applying to. And so like getting kind of feedback and getting like the interview experience from someone who's at the company itself, I think that was really helpful. And just like because it was kind of like my first main interview that I've like kind of done throughout my career so far. And I think that having that experience, especially when you're coming in new to interviewing and you don't like completely know like kind of the format or like how to like kind of present your ideas in an effective manner, I think that was really helpful for me.
Wonderful. I'm so glad to hear that. Now, Palak, we have received several questions about scholarships and awards, and I know that you've been a recipient of a scholarship and a recent award. So first of all, congratulations. And could you also tell us a little bit about those awards too?
Yeah. So UCD does offer multiple entry scholarships. Like it depends. Like there's the global scholarship, and then there's like Quinn School specific scholarships that I was also like recipient of. And depending on like your performance in your first year, second year, third year modules, you can also get awards that reflect your achievement. So there's like the one I was received was the stage 2 commerce scholarship, stage 1 commerce scholarship, sorry. That was basically being one of the top performers of the stage 1 results. And that was awarded to, I think, 5 or so people. So it really does like kind of motivate you to do even better. And like there's a lot of supports that UCD has that you can like avail of, and it just kind of reflects your achievements and your hard work and dedication.
Wonderful. So we do really prioritize recognizing the achievements of our students here, as you say. And every year we have this really special award ceremony. So I'm glad you had the chance to attend. And we also give the award recipients the chance to invite family and friends. So it's really special event. Thanks so much, Palak. Okay, Kristen. Hello there. So could you tell us, please, what it's like living on campus? I know you have on-campus accommodation, and I know you're involved in quite a few different societies. So can you tell us about some of those experiences?
Yeah, of course. So I'm in a residency hall called Roebuck Castle, and I'm actually part of the only plan that does catering. So my food is already paid for whenever I pay my fees for the month. And I can get food pretty much anywhere on campus. So there's the restaurant in Pi, which is in the science building, which is absolutely phenomenal. I definitely recommend. But I also can go to the Quinn School and go to their cafe and get free coffee at least once a day and food in between classes. So everything is all really close together. For residencies in general, there are a couple on campus, and in the village, which is the main hub for all the residencies, you have things like food restaurants that are not part of the catering, but they're also going to have like a small store for you to get essentials like frozen food and things like that just directly on campus. So you have everything directly right here. As for the societies, I'm part of a ton of them, and I really enjoy them. They're a great way to be introduced to other people outside of your program. So right now I have just come back from Barcelona from the International Student Society, and I learned so many cool things about so many interesting people and that I would never have interacted with if I had not gone on that trip. So I definitely recommend if you do join societies that interest you.
Thanks very much, Kristen. And can you tell us about some of your first impressions when you arrived in Dublin, and have you had the chance to go around the country at all?
So before I came here to UCD, I had actually been to Dublin once before, and that was many moons ago. But just from that trip to now, when I came to UCD, everyone has been incredibly nice. I have had the chance to go outside of the city a little bit, but not a lot. I've gone to like the Guinness Storehouse. I have not, unfortunately, been to Howth yet, but I have been to the Wicklow Mountains, and everything is gorgeous here. Everyone is incredibly nice. Driving is a little bit scary first couple times you do it. But yeah, everyone's been super nice. The campus is absolutely gigantic and gorgeous. And they have like walking trails. And again, so everyone's super nice and willing to help out in pretty much any way.
Wonderful. And before we look at, I think there's a question in the Q&A, before we look at questions from the audience, is there any advice that you would have for prospective students?
Don't be afraid to try things. So like I said, I'm part of a lot of different societies. So I'm part of the Horticulture Society. And one of the reasons why I chose business is because I can go into pretty much any field and be able to help them, because every business needs somebody in business. So even if it's something that you're interested in, join the society for it. And you can even use your degree towards that hobby that you might have. So don't be afraid to try things.
Great, thank you. All right, I think we have one question that came in. Someone asked about the modules for commerce. So the commerce and BSc business programs are quite similar. So Palak, would you mind just speaking a bit about the commerce program from a student perspective?
Yeah, sure. So, when you first come in, it's kind of like laying the basic groundwork. So you'll do like foundations of management, like it was highlighted earlier. And so like there's a lot of different basic modules you do to kind of get a foundational understanding of commerce and business in general, because it's not a requirement for you to study business before you come into commerce degree or even BSc business. I didn't. I came from like doing physics, chemistry, and math in high school, and I chose commerce. And I think like just the way it was so like easy to understand at the start, because they really like guide you into like the course content, and you'll cover like a range of different modules. You have like business law, you have business and society, you have foundations of management, and then you have like financial accounting. And they kind of like over the years and the semesters you kind of level up your difficulty a little bit. So you'll have like financial accounting 1 in your first year, and then you'll have financial accounting 2, and then you'll have management accounting. So it kind of just like builds on the knowledge you have gained in the previous years or semesters. And there are loads of different subjects that you have. I think each semester you have 5 core modules and then 1 elective module that you can choose completely out of your own choice. And there's option for like doing a structured elective, which I'm pursuing right now. It's basically if you have 3 electives within one group, it'll be reflected in your degree. So throughout, like after the first semester, you cover a range of different modules like business analytics, you do data analysis, you do accounting, you do finance, you do economics. So it's like a range of different modules that cover all aspects of business throughout your program.
Wonderful. Thanks very much, Palak. So I see another question has come in. Just a reminder to all of our webinar attendees, if you have questions, please submit them through the Q&A function or even the chat. So the next question is for you, Aaron. Someone has asked how math intensive is the economics and finance course, or sorry, Eiling. So either of you could answer that, or you can both.
Well, I guess I can go first. Speaking from a first year student perspective, it definitely is, there is a lot of math incorporated. Like in my first semester, I took Intro to Analysis and Linear Algebra, which were the 2 math classes I took. And currently I'm taking Advanced Calculus, Differentials and Diff Equations, Statistic Modeling, and Financial Accounting, which are kind of all math-based. And it's not necessarily anything that would be extremely challenging, as the professors go over it at a very slow pace that you can kind of understand and get the fundamentals of. And I think it really is all kind of something that you can manage totally very well. So it does incorporate quite a bit of math, at least so far in the first year. But there definitely is manageable resources such as the Math Support Center, which is just in the library, and that's a great resource where there is older students and other professors and lecturers there that are able to help you and support you through any math struggles that you may have.
Okay, thanks very much, Aaron. Eiling, is there anything you'd like to add to that?
I think Aaron's view is very good and complete. Just want to highlight the challenging aspect of economics and finance course here. Consider the way we are assessed. So on average, we have more than 6 end-of-term exams corresponding to different modules each semester, alongside group projects and coursework assessments. I would not recommend it to people who don't wish to be challenged, especially year 2 and the final year.
Thanks very much, Eiling. It is a very challenging course. It wouldn't be for me. Okay, there's another question here. Let's see. Okay, here's one for you, Kristen. If someone's interested in marketing and they're studying BSc business, is there a way that they might be able to take marketing elective classes or business optional modules?
Took the words out of my mouth. So yes, during the first stage, the first trimester that you're here, you don't really have any real options. In the introduction to your host country, you do have to do a little bit like an introduction video to your country. That was part of the assignments that we had. And then for the second trimester, so where we're currently in right now, you do have the option of electives. That's the first time you have that option. So one of the electives is marketing. However, in our current module courses, we are doing like AR in technology, and we do have to create our own app. And so we have to market that. So it's definitely incorporated pretty fully into the courseworks like right now, but there is a specific elective for it.
Thanks very much. And also, yes, so in your final year, when you're studying BSc business, you can pick 8 out of 12 of those modules. And we have, oh gosh, Virginia would know, but we have quite a few marketing modules that are open for students to take. Okay, there's another question. Any one of you can answer this one. So someone has asked, do you have one professor for the entire course, or are there multiple professors?
We have multiple. So for example, Maeve was actually one of my professors last term, and I have not had her yet again.
And which class did you have with Maeve?
That was, I'm so sorry, inside organizations.
You love
classes. So yeah, inside organizations, and it was one of my favorite classes, truly.
Can you tell us why?
So one of the final assignments for Maeve was we had to do something called a dossier, which was a couple of questions that had us a deep dive back into the subject matter that we had learned throughout the entire course. So on top of that, we also had to do a group project and a video interview almost. So that the entire like procedure or instance of that class in general was phenomenal because you actually had to relearn and actually concrete that information back in. So,
Great. Okay. There's one last question here. So we might make this our final question because we're running out of time. And we actually might get back to you. So this person has asked, can we change our course after paying the deposit for a particular course? I don't remember this answer off the top of my head. Maybe Aoife, you could type the answer here. Let's see. Is there any other advice that any of you would like to leave our attendees with?
I would say, sorry.
You can go.
Sorry. I would say kind of just like really do involve yourself within the community. And like there's a lot of opportunities. If you're living on campus, there's like the Res Life program, which they organize so many different trips and events on campus, off campus. And I think like it's just really insightful to get to like be involved in many different activities in clubs, societies, because it really does help you learn and just kind of have fun while you're all studying like whatever intensive course you have, and like obviously like balance the academics and like your fun and your socializing. But like I would say like the opportunities you have within UCD are incredible, and like there's a lot of things, it's always very lively, and so there's always something to do, there's always something to explore, so I would definitely recommend that.
Thanks very much, Palak. All right, I'll hand over to Maeve just to close us out in a minute, but I might just go over some next steps for everyone. I think Valerie, would you be able to pull up the presentation? Okay, that's all right. We don't. Oh, okay. Actually, Valerie, if you could show those images from the previous slide. So, Kristen, if you just want to tell us what these photos are real quick.
Yeah, of course. So when I was previously saying that I was part of the International Student Society that went to Barcelona, these are actually the pictures. So these are actually from Instagram, from the ISS Student Society. So you can see that we had an absolute blast. We have the Familia Cathedral right in the front and center, which is absolutely worth the 30 euro to go in. But it was just a lot of fun. We had a structured place that we went to was a monastery. So you can actually see in the center in the bottom left picture, that's actually what that is. So these are just one of the option of the trips. I know they're going to London, so there's going to probably be photos from that populating up. Whenever we actually do like structured trips, specifically like to Howth, they will take pictures. When we went to the Wicklow Mountains, they took pictures as well, and they posted them just to kind of give a little like, hey, this is what something you can still do, and this is what people have already done, or if they've already know the person, they could actually ask for more information about it. But that's what this is.
Fantastic, thank you. And thanks again to our student panelists today. So I'll just go over a few quick next steps. So if you haven't already completed your application, we would advise doing that as soon as possible. And if you have an offer, please do accept your offer, because you will not be able to apply for on-campus accommodation until you accept it. We have global centers all over the world who have organized these really special in-person student offer holder events. And it's a great way, if you attend these events, it's a great way to meet students that you'll be studying with and living with in Dublin. It's just a great way to connect with these students in advance. Let's see, you'll also have access to an incoming student portal, which hosts a wealth of information. Again, once you accept your offer, you'll have access to that. And we've listed a few useful resources here. I just want to highlight the first one in particular, the UCD Global Incoming International Student Facebook group. So when I was a student here, I actually joined this group that was designed for my specific cohort, and it was how I met other students who were going to be traveling over to Dublin. So I connected with them in advance, and once I arrived in Dublin, I had arranged to meet with them in city center. And so it was a great way for me to feel more settled. And I felt like I already had friends once I arrived. And of course, I've kept in touch with these same friends over the years. So I'd highly recommend joining the group and reaching out to other people, maybe from your home region or those who are within your academic program. Okay, and we've run out of time, but if you have any other questions, please feel free to email me at the email address there on the bottom of the slide. So I'll just pass over to Maeve to close us out.
Well, thank you, Emily. And I think we would all, agree that you've really shared a lot of information today. I hope that everybody listening has had the opportunity to hear something that they were curious about or wanted to know. Certainly, as a part of the school team, we're really proud of each of you as our students on the panel today. And thank you for telling your story. And if you have further questions, you know exactly how to reach us, thanks to everything that Emily has outlined. Please don't be hesitant about that. We're really happy to help. And remember that college ultimately is about what you study, but especially how you study. And as you heard here today, the spirit of leaning in and really making the most of those opportunities. So thank you for joining us. Thank you everybody to the panel, and we look forward to meeting you in Dublin very soon.